Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior, and today we're going to be talking about what happened to Ares within the Injustice universe. Now, despite Ares' minor role in the game, he's been very much so intertwined into the Injustice universe. Now, way before the Injustice universe started, we do see how Ares came to be. See, Ares in this universe wasn't destined to become the god of war. In fact, the title hadn't been created. You see, Ares had a lust for battle, one that was insatiable and one that he yearned for. So when he was denied battle by his father, he naturally got into an argument with him. As punishment for calling Zeus a coward, Zeus would bestow upon him the God of War title, but also horrifically scar him by making him look like more or less a complete monster. And these scars would burn deep for many eons. Now if we go up to date in the Injustice universe, post Lois Lane's death, he has a very interesting conversation with Diana, and is temporarily killed by her. I say temporarily because gods in this universe apparently can't be killed. They somewhat just kind of regenerate over time. But after he's killed by her, we learn that from Ares' inner monologue that he's in fact terrified of the possibility of a union being created between Wonder Woman and Superman, with this whole new idea of a regime taking over this planet and kind of enforcing its laws to cease all forms of conflict. It terrifies the god, as it not only starves him of his power, but also destroys his way of life. Ares is the entity that survives off conflict. Without it, he is actually nothing. Conflict is what he feeds off, it's his sustenance, and without it, he becomes weak. So Ares begins to hatch plans of his own, and does at some point form an alliance with Darkseid. Now he's absent all the way up until year 4, where he's been plotting and planning behind the scenes, and even is the one responsible into manipulating the Olympian gods to return back to Earth and to reclaim it as their own. On top of this, he's actually working on both the insurgency and regime side, so he's pitting all three groups against each other. And why is he doing this? He's doing it to create anarchy. The chaos and madness that will be formed by this will allow him to return back to his former strength. So what he does is have the gods enforce an order upon the regime that Superman must leave the planet or face the consequences. Now during this time, the insurgency have also joined the gods' side, but the gods have little time for men and their petty squabbles. So the gods for the most part are able to hold their own over the regime. That is until Superman kills Hercules. This is where Zeus steps in. He instantly depowers Captain Marvel and tells Superman to cease his control, or he will start executing members of his team, starting with the young Billy Batson. Now at this point, Harley Quinn would try to intervene, but in fact be killed. This causes an uproar with the insurgency, and their alliance with the gods is severely damaged. Now after Superman disbands the regime, Ares confronts him and manages to convince the Kryptonian to reach out to Poseidon, as only a god can defeat another god. So after Clark is able to convince Poseidon, he watches Clark invade Themyscira. This forces Batman to get Aquaman involved, having him go toe-to-toe with Poseidon, whilst the rest of them deal with Clark. Now during this time, Ares is reporting back to Darkseid that all is going as planned, but what he doesn't know is that Bruce this entire time has in fact put a chip on him to listen to what he's doing, and Bruce knows that Ares is responsible for orchestrating this entire event. But he didn't count on one person, Harley Quinn. You see, although she was killed, she was sent to the underworld, along with Diana's mother and Billy Batson. What they didn't count on here is that she has a handful of green Kryptonian pills, so she literally fights her way out of the underworld. That's until she comes across Ares, who she's able to pummel and get a hand of his mother box, where they boom tube to Apocalypse. Now the three are imprisoned, but Harley's able to reach out to Bruce through her comms and let him know that Ares is scheming with Darkseid. So during the climax of year 4, he tells Superman about this, and he darts off to Apocalypse to save the three and battle Darkseid. Now when he returns back to Earth, Ares' entire plan has been foiled. The new gods have told the Olympian gods that their time has passed, and it's not right for them to judge how humanity should control themselves from this point onwards. So the conflict there ends, and Superman is absolutely furious at Ares. He grabs the god and takes him all the way to Apocalypse and gives him to Darkseid, saying that he doesn't want to see this god ever tread on the planet again, and if he does, he will hold Darkseid accountable for this. Now at some point, Ares is somehow able to return back to Earth during Injustice Gods Among Us, where he makes two very small appearances. He first meets the parallel Earth's Aquaman, and due to an argument breaking out between the two, a fight ensues, to which he is defeated by the Atlantean. Even Aquaman realizes how weak the god is. Ares then elaborates and says that this world is so deprived of conflict that it has more or less starved starved him of his godly power. He is extremely weak, and as such, wants to help the insurgency. We later see him in Wonder Woman's chapter, where he elaborates a little more about this, as Diana doesn't trust him. He says that the only reason he's actually doing this is that he can temporarily feed off the conflict that is going on. He wants the world to go back to what it originally was, and although the energy he feels here may be very brief, it's a form of satisfaction that he hasn't felt in an extremely long amount of time. But this is the last time we actually see Ares within the main canon. So where is he now? Well, there are two options here. Ever since Superman was defeated, he somewhat just kind of roams across the world, enjoying any form of conflict that ensues, as the world is currently trying to repair itself into a stable and functional society. The other option is him returning back to Olympus, which may be a possibility as the other Olympian gods outside of Diana are currently residing there. So those are the two main options of where Ares could be during Injustice 2 as well. But yeah, that's kind of it for this video, guys. Hopefully it's given you a little bit more insight on where this character is and what really he's all about here. Ares in many ways is the ultimate opportunist. He couldn't care any less about the regime or insurgency, just as long as they incite some form of conflict and he's able to feed off it, because this is what gives him his power. From what we've seen in Injustice Gods Among Us is that he is extremely weakened when this isn't the case, so it does make his wildcard status in the universe very unique. But yeah, that's kind of it for Ares. Now I do want to do another Injustice video later this week, but I haven't got a particular idea in mind right now, so down in the comments below please throw out some suggestions, as I do like to hear what you guys have to say. Now before this video wraps up, guys, if possible let's try getting this video to about 500 likes. It's a great way of supporting this channel, as YouTube's ad system is broken as hell right now, so by giving it a thumbs up it helps out not only this video but this channel as a whole. And if you want to go that extra step, we now have a Patreon set up, so donating any amount of money is very much so welcome. Now as always, guys, please comment, like, subscribe and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care, and I'll see you all next time.